The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans. So belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Episode number 403 or 404. I don't even know. Jim will correct us later on tonight on the 6th day or 10th day of June 2024. Tonight's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod over there at SeatGeek.com today and save some 10 bucks, $20 on your
$20 free parking.
$20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. It's been a week, Dave. I can't remember. Also, remember,
you're so busy counting money there at Spitz Stadium.
Yeah.
Rolling
remember, we are part of
turnstile.
the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other great podcasts, such as No Credentials Required, the Corner Booth podcast, and of course, my guys over there at Crap Root Sports. Listen to them on Tuesday nights, or make sure you guys watch their YouTube channel. It's always those guys. I don't get to watch them enough. Maybe I'll turn it on tomorrow at Spitz and put it on during the day on the big board. But anyways, thank you for making us part of your day each and every day at the 1420 World Headquarters. Dave, it's been a week. We saw each other last week. You came to the home opener for the Bulls there. We saw each other. We had a little predicament there at Spitz Stadium there on the Wednesday night that you and your wife helped us out with a little bit. It's I'll give her for people who aren't to know about what occurred there. I was running around opening night, got some hiccups here and there. The video booth was something, the sound, whatever, doesn't much matter. But the beer tub upstairs, it was left unmanned. The food and beverage people forgot to schedule someone. They filled it full of beer, the old beer tub upstairs, but they forgot to put a young lass in charge of looking after the thing. And that was something to behold.
Well, back in the day, like say in my late teens, early 20s, an unattended beer tub was a gift from God. But now fast forward to my 50s and an unattended beer tub, and then my buddy puts me to fucking work, charging people for this stuff. So 20 years, 30 years ago, you would have been SOL. You would have been out a little bit on your inventory of beer. But I was glad that Kaylee and I could help you and make sure that the ruffians of Lethbridge Spitz Stadium weren't absconding beer.
Well, what was funny, there was a guy on the rail watching the game, and he turned back to me and he goes, "You look like you're important around here." I said, "Well, I'm not important, but I work here. I'm important." But he says, "No one's taking anything. I've been looking after it. Nobody's taking anything." I said, so I gave him a beer. And then as I was going down the stairs, to go and find someone to work this damn thing, the beer tub, I saw local baseball. Actually, the guy who started the first game for Lethbridge Bulls back in 1999, Les McTavish, he was coming up the stairs looking for an ice cold beer, and I was going down the stairs. I said, "You know what, Les? I know where I can get you an ice cold beer." And as happenstance would have it, they don't even charge you anything. And so we went upstairs and Les had a beer, and we had a good laugh. It was a busy weekend, a few hiccups here and there, but it was a lot of fun over there at Spitz, looking after the baseball world. There's a lot more smiles leaving that ballpark to wear frowns. That's kind of what we're striving for this year.
Yeah, it was a good time. The Bulls did not reemerge victorious on the first game there on Wednesday on the home opener, but I managed to pop by for the last 4 innings on Thursday. They got their revenge, and then when we were on the road for Regina, I saw that they beat the previously undefeated Okotoks Dogs in a bit of a barn burner on Friday night.
On Friday night. That was a hell of a ball. It was a good, fun ball game. The crowd was into it. Everything we kind of been putting into motion with the music and the video board. And it was people were having a really good time. So when I was a proud papa, to say the least, when I was having a beer and the game was over, watching the whole thing, and the music was playing and Blair and everything else. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time at the ballpark this weekend. But man, oh man, I'm tired. It's a lot of fucking work, dude.
Well, you're walking all the time. I don't know how much work you're doing. Like you guys.
Well,
should
I'm the mayor of Spittsville, shaking hands, kissing babies, the whole thing, and giving them dogs where they're needed and everything else, and
get your hands dirty, man. Get in there, head down, ass up.
Throughout the day when the game comes time for game time, that's when Brent shines the best. The mayor of Spittsville, but no, it was fun. Dave, you were in Regina all weekend long. Did you happen to catch and I haven't seen it, but I've heard from me and you were Montage guys. I heard from multiple people. I'm going to watch it later on tonight, and from people I didn't think watch hockey that the opening montage for the Stanley Cup Final from CBC or Sportsnet, whatever it might be, I heard that it was almost a tearjerker how good it was. Like it was one of those ones that people were like, "Oh my, this CBC went above and beyond with their opening montage for the Stanley Cup playoffs." Maybe we'll play it later on and see what we can our thoughts on that.
Yeah, we should almost do that during break because I totally forgot about it. And being at the baseball tournament, the kid had a game that started at 4:30, and the game started at 6. So with all the hullabaloo and all that stuff, it was a quick game on Saturday. As it turns out, Jasper plays for the 15 UAA Bulls. So the Bulls won in they beat who'd they beat? They beat Lumsden, Saskatchewan on Saturday night.
Lumsden, Saskatchewan.
Sharp jersey.
Chartrand.
Well, and they're the Lumsden Cubs. So it's always nice when you have a major league franchise because I'm not a Cubs fan, but seeing that sharp blue with the red numbers, it's a good looking jersey.
That's the thing is that they can just go to fucking play it. Play it against sports. Jersey City or Foot Locker. Grab their shit. It's done. They don't got to worry about some Yahoo screwing up their order.
Exactly. This is something I'm going to tell you. There was a kid. So once again, this is 15 and under. These kids. One person, one of the players on Lumsden Cubs was sporting the number 69.
Well, it is Saskatchewan. It's a little bit of a different spot for sure. It's the things happen. And
I was like, where's that kid's parents? And I said it loud enough that the parents would have heard me say it.
Yeah, well, I've never been one to pull a punch here and there.
I said it loud enough, but I didn't yell it. And then obviously the parents were sitting with the Lethbridge parents, and I'm like I can't be the only one who wants to know who lets their fucking kid wear that jersey, right?
Yeah.
No, and then we had a little bit of giggle and stuff like that, and I was there with my wife, and she was like, enough with that now, okay? We're not going to find out who his parents are. I go,
well, you should. It's probably Ronnie Chartrand from Lumsden, Saskatchewan's kid.
I know that I'm not gonna out the name, but you know what they did have there was programs, which is something I'd like to see at Lethbridge Bull games at Spitz Stadium. But they had a program.
It's done.
So
it's 4 and 5 out of or 2, 3, 4.
Not game 1 and 2 where I was at. So I'll be happy to see
you
that.
Must have missed out on the game 2 ones by the time you got there. Sold out.
Probably.
Hot off the press.
But nonetheless, so I know the kid's name. And so if I have to, there can't be too many folks with that name in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. So I'll look it up and send them a letter.
Yeah, write him a letter. It's a funny thing. No, the Stanley Cup playoffs got going on Saturday night, and I watched the highlights. I was obviously at the ball game on Saturday, but it looks to me like the Oilers got goalied hard. Bobrovsky, and because my sister sent me a message during the game, she said, this Bobrovsky could be a problem. 35 shots to whatever it was. And it wasn't, and it's not that Skinner played bad. So what was it? It was 2-1, whatever it was. And they got Bobrovsky like hard on they got goalied on Saturday night. And that's the one good thing about hockey compared to football is that if you get a guy in the Super Bowl who has one great game and everybody else kind of has whatever might happen. The championship is over, but in hockey, you know what? You can come back and maybe win three of the next four of the next five, and still have a chance. And that's one thing I like about the NHL. We talked about last week as well. Like you got to win four. You got to win 4 Super Bowls now. So now the Panthers have to win 3 Super Bowls to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and it was, especially when you see a goalie in the zone like Bobrovsky was. This is like having your game one starter go 4 games in a row now.
Yeah.
Right. So and it makes such a difference. And there's sure you need a team in front of you, but when a goalie is in the zone and playing the way he did, it gets in the other team's head, and it's tough because the Oilers were the better team on the ice. The Oilers made a couple bad. They made a couple bad mistakes. The normal. And they ended up in the back of the net. Just salt and wood, however you do yours. Yeah, so that's what happened. I believe Edmonton was the better team. Edmonton's playing really well tonight. I think they were the better team in the second period. As the third period goes on, they're getting outshot by quite a bit, but this game can go either way, and it's entertaining hockey, and both teams are fast. Both teams want to win, and it's like I say, it's been a really entertaining game so far.
Do you like it when a team, let's not sugarcoat it here. Like Florida, there's nights where they get, there's more people dressed as empty seats than there are people in the building. A lot of times during the regular season. Do you like it when all of a sudden the place is packed and everybody's got a red jersey, red T-shirt on? Like, what's your thoughts on the bandwagon jumpers? I don't give a fuck either way.
I hate it, but I get it too, right? It's the sexy thing to do. It's what you do, and when the local team is playing for the championship, and it's a party, and it's something to do. And what I kind of like about the Florida fans is there's so many different jerseys out there. You got your red ones, you got your white ones, you got those powder blue ones, that third jersey from a couple years ago. I see this guy right there wearing that with the palm trees on the front there. Yeah. I quite dig that jersey, and so it's kind of neat to see him out there. The crowd is vocal. It's not Edmonton vocal. It's not a hockey market loud, and I can even almost tell by the way they cheer and they react. They don't quite understand all the rules of the game, but they're there and showing up. And so who am I? Like, I wish the ice was better.
Odd because Dave, it's not like this. It's a new fucking franchise. Like, they've been around since 1994, I think it is, right? So that ain't new. That's 30 years to figure it out.
You're right, but when you only go to 10
when the Jays came in 1977, by the time 1993 rolled around with the World Series, or 92 when they won the World Series, it was only 15 years. Apparently, Canadian baseball fans figured out how to cheer for a fucking baseball game.
You're not wrong, but baseball is a lot easier to understand than hockey. It's a lot faster, and when they're cheering for penalties where they're mad at the ref, like, it's just like, well, come on, like, that's just how it is. And it's more reactive. It's more like, yeah, it's you can tell it's like sitting beside someone who is going to their first hockey game with the way a lot of these people react, and it's obvious at times, and that's kind of comical to me. It doesn't make me sad or anything like that, but it's just like, fuck, you don't really. You talked about deserving the Stanley Cup, that kind of thing, from the player standpoint. Like, these fans don't deserve a Stanley Cup.
No,
they really don't. They really don't.
Players don't. Fans really don't.
Fuck.
Yeah, I saw it 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, good for you for not letting it up. But
yeah,
what do you do?
I don't give a shit. Like, when the Canadian teams win the cup, and it has been 30 years, that's not a thing for me. Like, I don't care, because all the players are Canadian, not all, but most are Canadian. There hasn't been a Canadian-based team win since 93 with the Canadians, but that doesn't bother me. But when the bandwagon jumpers show up, And all of a sudden they got one more cup win than like my mom's favorite team or the Winnipeg Jets or blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, right on. And they'll wear their t-shirts the next day, and then that's it. It's, I don't know. It's,
yeah, like where's the watch party? Where's what's the parade going to be like? I have no idea. But in Edmonton, they're gonna close the entire city for a day. Like I know that
a month. If the Oilers can pull this off, they close that for a month.
It's going to be mayhem. It will be mayhem. And I even saw today on the Twitter machine, McDonald's posted if Edmonton brings home the Stanley Cup, they're going to rename one of their franchises in Edmonton McDavid's.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if he knows that, and wonder if his name's been marketed that way, and if he's allowed.
Maybe with his position. Yeah.
Rights.
Yeah, like what's in it for me? Because I got my cup. I don't care. But if you want to use my name for one of your...
I never thought of that, Dave. Like in 15 years, somehow Canadians picked up the game of baseball. And in 31 years, Americans haven't picked... I think what it comes down to, Canadians are just smarter than Americans.
Well, that's not untrue. I'll say that. But what I will say is exposure to
I
sport,
thought you just found a way to reiterate my thought process there.
It's exposure to the game, right? Even though I didn't play competitive hockey as a kid, I have played shinny and stuff like that. I have watched so many games as a kid, and so you just now know the rules. Like, and same with baseball. It's if you're exposed to it as an adult and only watch it fleetingly, because I can't imagine the ratings in Florida and Sunshine are that good.
They haven't changed.
I'd be surprised.
They have not changed. I would put money on it that the College World Series is getting better ratings. I'll guarantee you that the NBA is getting obviously getting better ratings. I will put money on it out of the Greater Sunrise at the Amalie or Amarant Arena, whatever the fuck it's called. Outside of that area, nothing's changed. Like nothing. No, nothing.
Like, our kids playing it, right? Like, is it like, do you see jerseys on the streets, jerseys in the schools? Like, do you see kids even playing street hockey in Florida? In Sunrise. Sunrise is, I'm assuming, a suburb of Miami. Yeah. You can't. Like, what effect is hockey having on the local sports scene? Is there now a league? Is there? I don't know. I don't know the answers to this. They were talking about it and listening.
In Florida, I don't know. Like, I know it's grown quite a bit, obviously in California and Arizona and everything else. But it's in Florida, I don't know, and because I don't know, it must mean it hasn't. Yeah, because they like, no one's bragging about the Junior Florida Panthers program. No one's bragging about this. Like, I've heard they were talking about it on Elliot's podcast about the program that they've made in Carolina, the program that they've developed in Nashville, in Arizona, and kids are being produced. I still don't know if there's ever been a Florida-born player in the NHL, whereas a lot of these other states have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, neither do I. So, like, on that note, like, the Panthers do not deserve this as a fan base. The team's a team, right? No one's handing out Stanley Cups to anyone. You got to get out there and fucking earn the team's really, really, really good. Like, they are so good. They're borderline great. And they play a gritty, solid hockey. I was at, after the game the other night, we found that before Brown shut down, went there, and Ryan, the bartender, he says, geez, that Florida team is nasty. He said, he goes, they're physical and nasty. And that's I think that's one thing that gets lost with a lot of teams, is because especially with hockey, well, it's all sports now, but skill development is all they teach. Skill. Do this, launch angle that. But you know what? It takes a team of assholes and pricks and want to win kind of guys in every sport, no matter what it might be, to go in that direction to win a championship. You can have all the skill you want. If you don't have the grit and that will to win, you ain't going to do fuck all. Yeah, especially in your leadership group. If your most skilled player is the one that's
last to the ice, last to the rink, first gone from the rink. Like that's not what's needed in a team sport such as this. You need the players that want to work and want to lead from the front, and that goes with most team sports. It does. It's not just hockey, but there's no like big three bringing your talents to South Beach here. Like, you can have Edmonton has 2 of the top 5 players in the world, and this is their first Stanley Cup appearance, and they're in a slog right now. Like they're at the risk of going down 2-0 in this series, which isn't to say they can't come back when they get back to Edmonton. You can stack a team, but you have to have players on there that are going to be playing for a lot less. Because of the salary cap, they're going to have to making a lot less money than they could be making someplace else on the open market, because there's nowhere else, and because you have to build from the draft. It takes you have to be such a team. It has to start with the GM, and then with the farm system. You have to have everybody, all the coaching staff, all the development staff, everybody pulling in the same direction, because when you need so much buy-in from so many different people to even have a chance to be a successful team.
Like, is it at the point now with all sports is that you have to actually be you have to fail miserably to even have a chance to come back 3, 4, 5 years from now? Like, you look at the Baltimore Orioles, how bad they were 2, 3 years, and now they're right there. I mean, the Yankees, I haven't watched many games, so maybe that's why they're winning superstitious-wise, but like, you have to get absolutely fucking decimated to even have a chance to think about 4 years from now, because free agency and everything else, it's hard. Like, it's hard to keep guys together, and I'll say it, the selfishness of players, and you have to find and you get guys who are veterans, their second contract, they don't give a fuck. They got their money. They don't care. Like, you need guys who are pulling in the right direction. You don't need, like, who was that on Major League? They brought that fucking Dorn there, signed a contract, right? And so it's that kind of a deal. Like, guys get their contracts, and they don't give a fuck. Yeah, they'd rather win, but they don't. They're like, all right, I don't give a shit. Like, it's a thing now, Dave. I think a lot now that if you can get a core together, bring him in, like I said, like Baltimore did, like with the Orioles, and they're all roaring in the same direction, you have a chance 4 years from now. You have a short window, a very short window, but pulling in, if you're always close, you're never going to win. You're not. Bring in free agent A, free agent B, free agent C. They don't give a fuck.
No, I agree, but like when it's
don't give a fuck, but like.
When it's time, you got to take a swing too, right? And that's what that Anthopoulos did for the Jays. 7 years ago with Bautista?
That's 9 years ago now, man. That was 2015.
9 years ago.
Old.
Kansas City Royals in the same time frame. They got close and they took a swing. They emptied it, and they've been shit ever since. The Cleveland Indians, the Guardians, they took a swing and they got to the World Series. They lost to the Cubs.
Well, how many times did the Cubs get close back, or not the Cubs, the Guardian, they were the Indians back then. How many times were they close in the 90s, and they ran into the Yankees, they ran into the Marlins, they ran into whoever, and they were close all the time and didn't get it. And that's when, like, because they just didn't pull the trigger on that next guy. Mm-hmm. Or the Yankees were just really good, and the Marlins spent a couple of years there and everything else. But, like, you get one chance. You get one chance as a GM. You get one chance as a head coach. If you don't take advantage of it, you probably don't get another chance. Like,
I will disagree with that, because I think that's why that Theo Epstein left Chicago, because they told him, like, we're not spending money. You're not going to build a dynasty here. And he said, well, then I'm out of here. Like, fuck you guys. Like, the Cubs now, like, we got our one. Now we're about making money. Now we're about Wrigleyville. Now we're about selling souvenirs.
Because that was such a great story when the Cubs finally won one after 80 whatever years. It was a great story, and the people were pulling for them, and the montages that came afterwards, everything else. It was great.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Why they wouldn't go after another one? No, they said, yeah, that's enough. We're good.
Because we're here to make money. We're not here to win games. We're here to make money. There's been no clearer situation than that team for a team that's in it to make money, right? Because they had to sell real estate. They had to sell the new bar development 2 blocks from Wrigley. They had to sell whatever.
It was pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, and I get it, and it's allowed to be awesome. But now you can sell.
But I haven't seen the reincarnation. I went the year after they won, so it was still like it was in its infancy. But the area around Wrigley is pretty great. And I saw it how it was, not how it is now. It was pretty great. So why not just run with that? Like, how much? And I've always yes, we all want more money. Yes, everybody does. But when you're fucking pulling $100 bills out of your fucking ashtray in your truck, how much more money do you fucking need? Like, the legacy is more than money, isn't it?
But not when you're answering to shareholders, right? Because now you gotta that dividend check has to be spread out 2,000 different ways as opposed to one. It's not an owner. The owner is a corporation. The corporation is beholden to its shareholders, and the shareholders are putting their money in there not for love of the Chicago Cubs. They're in it to make a fucking buck. And we're not worried. We want to be kind of middle of the pack competitive, and if some draft picks hits and stuff like that, great. We'll think about taking another run, but by no means are we blowing money, stacks and hundreds of millions of dollars on free agents to get here, because that's not what we're about. Because that's hundreds of millions of dollars that we're not.
If you win, you'll sell more T-shirts. If you win, you'll sell more beer.
Some restaurant just signed a 10-year lease across the street, right? And it's not the people that own the Cubs also own all that land.
Right across the board, no matter what level of sports franchise you got, winning helps your franchise no matter what. No matter. We said it 1,000 times in this fucking show. Nobody ever pays to watch the home team lose. You have your diehards, but the diehards aren't the ones making you money. It's the 2 and 3 people a year, or 2 or 3 times a year, people making you money.
I totally disagree. I would say a third of the fans at 60% of Chicago Cub home games, at a third of the fans at Yankee home games, a third of the fans in Boston home games are fucking tourists. They're going to buy that ticket, whatever.
2/3, Dave.
So there you go. That's why winning doesn't mean shit. Because if I'm in New York City, I'm going to go to a Yankees game. If I'm in Boston, I'm going to go to a Bo Sox game. If I'm Chicago, I'm going to go to a Cubs game. And there's millions of tourists that come to those cities every fucking year, and that's a thing you got to do. And then you know what else you got to do? You got to go for a drink and a bite to eat before the game at Wrigleyville. You got to go to the shop and buy a fucking Chicago Cubs pen set and desk clock. You got to get some Mariano Rivera fucking ball sweat. There's a sucker born every day.
They sell that?
I thought I saw that on your wall there the other day.
I'm sure, Dave, back in 2013, if that was for sale my first time in the Bronx, I probably would have bought some. But
I have no idea. They would have it in the gift shop with the little scratch and sniff there, and they're like, "Ooh, fuck, that does smell masculine."
Scratch and sniff books,
and the little berries and whatever the fuck.
Well, it smells like the same the other book does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's.
So when it becomes about making money, and it has a lot, and for you to be a Yankees fan, they haven't hit rock bottom since the core four. They've missed the playoffs once. They haven't been realistically competitive for the World Series, but they're
17 they were. 17 they were. 19 they kind of were. Yeah.
Yeah, but never rock bottom. And to be competitive in baseball, there's so many, like the draft is such a crapshoot. and there's so many fucking rounds of that stuff. I don't know. You gotta find a couple nuts in there in that draft to be able to make it work with a well coached and developed developmental system through your minor leagues, so you can identify talent, not just your talent, but talent in other teams. Where that these are the minor league prospects that we want if we dish someone. We want guys like this, guys that we can coach up. We know what this person's problem is. We can make him a major leaguer. And if you can, obviously it's not easy because everybody would do it. There's teams that are able to do it and take those prospects and make them everyday players in your own roster. And that's how you save the money. And then when you have that chance with your prospects coming into the pros, now you can spend a little bit of money as opposed to a lot of bit of money and have a legitimate shot at the trophy.
Dave, if you were the bless the team forever, someone said tomorrow morning, Dave Van Robes, you are now the fucking proud owner of Franchise X, the National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, NFL, where it might be, and not NFL because it's a license plate money, doesn't matter. But would you rather lick the jar year after year, a la the Yankees or Cleveland, like they did back in the 90s, or win one and reap the benefits of that one, or lick the jar and be close year after year? Which would you rather have?
So you're saying, would I rather be San Jose, or would I rather be the Bruins?
Well,
San Jose licked the jar for 15 years.
But the Bruins won a couple, right?
They won one.
They won one. So actually, you could actually the Bruins are licking the jar. Really?
Yeah. But they did win the one, and they're selling out every time. Like is Toronto even licking the jar? I think so.
No.
I think you could. I think
they didn't know where the fucking jars are in Toronto.
What about so like Nashville? Is Nashville licking the jar?
Nashville's a playoff contender year in, year out. They got a good fan base. The expectations are right where they are. Yeah, the fans would want them to win one, obviously. But if you don't,
yeah,
you know,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'd want my fans to be involved and successful, and I want a chance. So, like, I think, of course, you want to win. Of course, you want to bring home the hardware.
You win one, and then disappear for 60 years.
Well, kind of like St. Louis.
Yeah.
So St. Louis, like out of nowhere, they came and won one. But they've been a decent, but they've been a decent team for forever,
long time. Back in the mid 90s there, because you had
Cujo, you had Grant Fuhr, Craig Millen,
but then they were in a division with the Detroit Red Wings, right? So it was tough.
Yeah,
like it was really tough to win there. So
I think. So yeah, let's compare that. Like so a long stalwart. I don't know if stalwart's the right word. A competitive franchise like St. Louis, who got their one, or San Jose. Like I don't know what I think San Jose had when Jumbo Joe and Marlowe were there forever. I think, and they were competitive. They'd always win a round or two. Got to the Stanley Cup Finals at one time. They were selling out that barn.
Forever.
Yeah.
Since they came to the league in 92, I think, 91, they've been selling out that barn forever. Yeah. Yeah,
they had a bit of problems this year. I did see a couple of games, but they were terrible. Like they have seriously hit rock bottom. And if you compare that to St. Louis, I would imagine over the last 20 years, the San Jose franchise has made more money than St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because they had way more sellouts. They had more deeper runs. They are probably selling more souvenirs and stuff like that than the St. Louis fans who have been there forever. So, if I'm an owner, I think I want to be in it to win it, but also I don't mind padding my pockets either. So I guess I don't really have an answer. I do want a Stanley Cup ring, so yes, my answer would be I'd rather be owning the St. Louis Blues than the San Jose Sharks, even though I think the Sharks have made more money over the last 20 years.
You just wonder when it stops, right? You just wonder when do the players know their pawns? Like, you go back to fucking Eagleson years back in the 70s, right, with the NHLPA and everything else. Shit. Oh, I just gave it away. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, like you wonder when the players figure out, and that's the problem you got, is that the players know their pawns now. It doesn't matter. They're just pawns in the game.
Yeah. And then until you get some players there, until you got players there that really want to win, and that's, I will say this, that that Kachuk, even though I can't stand him, he's a culture changer. He really wants to win, and he's leading from the front. He's showing the guys how hard you have to work and how hard you have to do things. It's, oh Jesus, that's a soft fucking goal, Skinner. That's soft.
I don't think
he's
soft. Makes that save.
Yeah, but you're not as big as he is.
He's big.
Yeah, unless, like, when you say that their pawns are getting paid, like it's a decision they make, because obviously anyone that Columbus brings in, like, they're soft as baby shit. Unless you got to be careful when you spend that money, because unless these guys want to lead from the front, which I believe Draisaitl and McDavid are leading from the front, they're doing fucking everything they can to win. Yeah. And they're doing it with substandard goalie and substandard D.
Just don't have enough. I looked at things like 14 shots for. No, it's tough. And like, stats are for losers and fucking everything else. But there's something on the news this morning. The teams that won went up 2-0 in the first round, in the second finals, have won 22 out of the last 25 Stanley Cups. So going down 2-0 is tough. Winning four in a row is tough. Winning 4 out of 6 or 4 out of 5, that's almost fucking impossible.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Mary Swanson, there's a chance. You never know.
You know what? As we're talking about different franchises and stuff like that, I listened. Garrett and Jim put out a Steel and Teal. I listened to that today, and they were mocking the NHL for giving this team to Utah, the Arizona franchise, and they were making a case where they think it should go to Atlanta. And they asked for our opinion, and here's my opinion: absolutely fucking not. Atlanta's a 2-time loser, and they're, well, hockey would do great in Atlanta.
No, it won't.
It hasn't twice, and so I do think Utah deserves a chance. I think Utah's kind of a perfect market for it. There's a lot of professionals in that market, and they're sports hungry. And they're
not a chance. I'm going to listen. I try to listen to that busy, but not a chance that I would give. Like, why, if you break up with a girl once, you might go back with her a second time because something was, a little something there.
I've changed.
But you up? That's all that is. Up. That's all it is.
The only way they're going to Atlanta is if they
go back the third time.
Yes,
you're an idiot.
I think so.
Like, we've had friends who went back second and third times with girlfriends back in the day. Like, you're fucking stupid.
You're stupid again, are you? Yeah. Because
Atlanta has silence when someone when the 2-time ex-girlfriend rolls in the door. Like, oh,
really?
Hi,
yeah,
Maggie. I thought, good to see you. And that's what it'd be in Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. I don't understand how things would change. The only thing that changes, like, because Gary Bettman is ruled by the almighty dollar. If Atlanta somehow comes up with like $2 billion to run a franchise, he'll put a fucking franchise in El Paso if they sign the right fucking check. He don't give a shit. And they talked about
but it's not his fault because his job is to make the owners money.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. But just as a place where hockey can work, as a place where hockey can work for a fan base, like Quebec City is the place. Anyone that's listening that doesn't know, back in the 80s when the Quebec City Nordiques were a team, the rivalry they had with the Montreal Canadiens was unbelievable. The biggest rivalry in all of rivalries. They had a team
Easter good
in
Friday
warm-ups in the playoffs, for fuck's sake. There was guys. It was total slapshot. Guys were taking the opening face-off after they got in a brawl, and the officials were still in the locker room warming up and going over their pregame. And these guys were on the ice beating the shit out of each other.
Michel Goulet and fucking who else was on that team? The Stasny brothers.
Yeah.
And they weren't scrappers. Dale Hunter was on those teams back in the day. He was a grit grinder, that fucker.
Oh yeah. Like it meant something to those players and to those franchises. So but the TV market is shit and they won't get one for that. Which I totally understand. They would sell out. It'd be like,
not every city deserves a Major League franchise.
And it's simple as that, and just because you have how is that not a penalty shot? Like he was hacking his fucking. He was never
clearly away.
Because he was being fucking. He was water skiing the whole way.
He didn't have a clear breakaway to get go.
Yeah, but that's a hook the whole way. Anyways,
well, should have been.
Yeah, for sure. Houston. I would put one in Houston before Atlanta. I would put one in Portland before Atlanta. I wouldn't.
I get rid of teams.
Well, they're never going to contract.
They won't. There's too many teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many nondescript players on every team. Go back to 21. They won't.
They're never going to. They're never going to do that. They're going to expand before they do. And you know what? And, I think that asshole in Arizona actually has it. If he can prove that he can afford it, he gets first crack.
If he gets a building, he gets the first new franchise again.
Yeah.
So they're going to try it again.
Because why not? After trading water for 25 years. But do whatever you want. Like, fuck it. It ain't my money. It ain't my monkeys. Ain't my circus.
Like, the thing about, you say the TV markets, without Sportsnet, the TV markets in Canada aren't that fucking huge either. Really?
No. It's one big city, right? 30 million people, like, is the draw.
It's LA.
Mm-hmm. Like, and, when we say TV markets too, like now I would venture to say that north of the border, there's as many people watching this game as south of the border.
There's more people watching in Lethbridge right now than are watching at a bar in fucking Florida. I'm not making that up.
And you might be right. Despite the fact that the Miami media market is probably 4 million, 5 million people. I don't know.
There's more people watching this game in Lethbridge tonight than are watching the entire state of Florida.
Is there more people watching the hockey in Minnesota and Massachusetts than there is in the state of Florida on the TV tonight?
Yep.
I would venture to say so as well.
Actually, you know what? Yes. Yeah, because they're hockey states.
They're hockey fans, right?
The other states, nobody's watching.
Yeah.
No. Because and that's the thing. This matchup, it's it's good. Why are they pulling their goalie? That's fucking stupid.
I don't like that, pulling goalies with like 3 minutes left either.
It's 5.
5 minutes.
Ugh. That's stupid. Like,
who
the fuck analytics-wise, so you know what we should do? We are going to guarantee that the other team's not going to touch the puck for 5 minutes. Are you out of your fucking head?
And actually, you know what? I don't totally disagree with this because it's now going to be 5-on-4 for a minute. The Oilers can control the pocket on. They have a dominant enough power play that this might actually work. They shouldn't give up a goal here, but you never know. And as I said, watch. Yep, missed it clear. Oh, there you go. Okay, never mind.
That's stupid.
Do you want to take a break and watch the last 5 minutes of this game?
All right. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer and Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. This time is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod over there at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. This is stupid. It's stupid.
I think it's kind of stupid, but I understand the risk here.
Are you thinking of going to a game or a concert in the coming days ahead, or do you already have tickets and want to upgrade where you're sitting? It's simple. Go to SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. They have tickets for all sports going on right now, as well as concert tickets to shows throughout North America. And to make things even better, use promo code 1420pod. That's 1420pod and receive $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky. Go to Righteous Felon Jerky or righteousfelon.com and save yourself 15% by using promo code BELLYUP over there at righteousfelon.com for the best in craft beef jerky in the land that they offer there. Dave, there's some bad baseball happening right across. Like I watch enough and everything else going on. And my Yankees are doing quite well. I haven't watched a ton, so maybe that's the old superstitious guy in me. But there's some bad baseball teams that you wonder how it happens every year, year in, year out. But one that blows my mind, I think they're the second longest serving franchise in the major leagues, the Chicago White Sox. They're absolutely fucking atrocious. And it for a major market, like we talked about in the last segment, how like TV markets and on it goes. How a team, yes, it's money and Reinsdorf and whoever his name is. How a team that won a World Series in 2000, was it 8?
With Ozzie Guillen.
Was it? I don't think it was 8.
The Big Hurt.
Yeah, it don't much matter what year it was, but how a team that's in a major market like that. Actually, you know, let's factor the Cubs in there too, because they won one in 140 fucking years. Like how the White Sox are so absolutely atrocious. There's a 15-game losing streak, and there's 100 people in the stands, and I'm not making that up. Like there's 100 people in the stands. Like it's Oakland-esque. Because actually, the Jays were in Oakland this weekend, so their games were on Sportsnet up here, and the crowds weren't great, but for Oakland, they were pretty good. Like it's a nice day in California. Go to a game. You know, they're getting that. Chicago is not getting fuck all for people going to games. People are like, you know what? I'm not going. I'm not spending any money to watch these fuckers lose.
Because they got kind of fucked over by the ownership, right? Wasn't it 2 years ago? They had some free agents, but they signed the wrong ones. And that ass crack, what was his second base? McDonald? Anderson.
First time.
Yeah. Yeah, who just got his money and he didn't give a fuck.
They said he was going to be the next coming of fucking Jeter or better. And
yeah.
He's fucking... Yeah.
Turned into pissy pants. No one likes him. They brought Lasorda in to literally take naps on the fucking bench.
Tommy Lasorda ain't coming up.
Well, Lasorda. La Russa. To literally
get a driver to get him there with his fourth DUI, whatever it was, but whatever.
Yeah, and that's what is ownership think it's doing. Like, if this is what you're selling, at least give us. Like as a fan base, you always understand if shit goes sideways. You know, it's it can happen, and this is sports, and sometimes it's not your year. But when it was mistake after mistake after mistake, and you're signing unlikable players and a manager who's literally asleep at the wheel. Like, if you don't care, why the fuck should we? And Chicago, it's the only reason we're going to this game is because it's a tenth of the price of a Cubs ticket, and we just want to watch some baseball. And so, and you're not even giving us a decent reason to come to this bar now. So why don't you guys go get fucked, and we'll just come when there's a visiting team that we want to see, because fuck off.
But that's a problem now, Dave. Is that there's not like, fuck, man. Everybody has stuff going on. Everybody's busy, and on it goes. And there's not a ton of baseball dorks in the world left anymore. And especially with the college sports, college baseball's really picked up steam in the last 10 years. And the College World Series is on. And if your team stinks, people aren't coming. They're not. Because I say it around Spitz a lot. Baseball's a niche sport now. It really is. It really is. Young kids don't watch it. And where's your demographic? And now and because baseball kicks itself in the fucking foot no matter what, with the streaming and on it goes. So if you can't even get engaged with your team to dislike them, because people will go to a game because they hate somebody. Remember the move Major League? Those people would go and be mad about it. People will go to hate fuck their team. They will. But if you can't even watch the damn thing, people are like, they'll forget about it.
When you don't,
that's a major problem.
Yeah, when it's just apathy, you just don't care anymore. I'm looking at the standings as we're talking. So the White Sox have played 66 games. They're 26 games behind first place. 26 games, and we're 20 games from the halfway point, for fuck's sake. It is, and those the craft food sports.
Chicago's a huge city. If you, because we talk about this with the Bulls, like we're trying to get if you get 1% of the population, you're doing okay.
Oh, you're doing great. Yeah.
Right. They are getting 0.5% in Chicago to go to games.
Because why wouldn't you, right? And that's the thing. I as a fan, I don't need my team to win every game. That's obviously the goal, and that's what I want to see, and I want to see them compete. And I'll put up with losses. I'll put up with we're just not the better team. But you know what I won't put up with is fucking watching a team that doesn't try. And and that, like with the Edmonton Oilers, how we got divorced.
It's not even so much the team, Dave. It's when management and ownership doesn't try.
And that's my point. Yeah, because the team that the Edmonton Oilers was fielding back in the day, they were trying. It was just a bad team that was assembled by management. Management was telling me I'm a shitty fan for not wanting to support this shitty team. This is a team that this is the fucking dinner that the chef put in front of me, and you're telling me this is filet when it's just a fucking flank steak with some hamburger helper on the side. Yeah. Get fucked. I'm paying good money for this meal. And I want you to tell me what I'm paying for, because I'm not paying for fucking flank steak. I'm paying for a fillet, and you're fucking me over. So why don't you go get fucked? And that's what that's what the fans are doing more and more. That's what they're telling Oakland, right? And I think Oakland's getting a bit of a bump because this is now a nostalgia thing. This is our last year to watch the A's, because last year, the fans obviously told them to get fucked, but now they'll give them a little bump because they want to bring their kids to see the stadium one last time. They want to have fond memories because it's out of their hands. Their owner's an ass crack, and this team is playing in Sacramento last year. So fuck off and stay fucked off. But I'm going to bring good memories. This the shit sandwiches that Reinsdorf or whoever he is with the White Sox, get fucked. Get fucked. You want to fuck me over? Then this money is staying right in my fucking pocket. There ain't no Frank Thomas ball sweat being sold in that gift shop.
No, Mason Bo Jackson, but that's another story of the day. But it just goes to show that how much money there is with their MLB app and blah 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 deals that they make. Like it just obviously they don't give a fuck. I'm making this much money and done. It
and every
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Every CBA agreement turns out to be, how can we fuck the players over a little more? How can we give the players a little less freedom? How can we keep the players one more year away from free agency? How about the owners get together and hey, how about you fucking tightwads looking at you, Oakland, looking at you, Chicago, looking at you, whatever, unless you're contributing to the pot. I almost said Colorado, but at least Colorado's contributing to the pot because they still draw fans, even though they put up a shit product every single fucking year.
Shit.
There's some absolute shit, but there's still 20,000 every fucking game.
It's shit.
It is. I would be furious as a fan, but obviously they don't care. They got the Nuggets and the Avs, and that's. But now they got the Broncos and
great ballpark. They put shit out. I could have Dave. You and I, we've talked about this before the season starts in hockey, football, and baseball. We don't talk basketball here in the 1420 podcast, but I could have told you last July that the Colorado Rockies were not winning the World Series in 2024.
And it seems to me that it should be an easy team to construct, right? Just get some bangers. They have the thin air.
Add your stats. Come to Colorado. Hear fucking Coors and all you want.
Fairly short porch in left field. Get ground ball pitchers and just
Herbs is down the street. Come for a beer. Whatever.
Herbs is down. Yeah, they got them. They got the mini Wrigleyville there. There's shit to do down outside that park, and and it's a mile away from. Wherever the Avs play, I almost called it McNichols Arena, but that's not it anymore. But
Pepsi, but I think it's something now. Yeah.
We're on the same boat, so it's all there, ready for them. It's just, and I'm guessing they're making money in their little area of downtown Denver because they don't put a good product on the field.
Once,
yeah,
2010, I think it was, or 9. 8, doesn't matter.
They had a bit of a run there, yeah, with Larry Walker and the Big Cat, and I couldn't tell you any of them.
They made the playoffs 2008 on the last day of the season. Then they had that the play. The guy should have been out at home plate, didn't get called out. But they've been relevant.
Yeah,
they've been relevant once in their entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
That franchise to the outside looker, and that's the problem with baseball. You have so many franchises. There's so many games. You have so many franchises irrelevant.
Yeah.
The Reds, irrelevant. Arizona, irrelevant. They made the playoffs last year.
Yep. Pittsburgh,
irrelevant.
Kansas City, they got their World Series, 10 years ago, but that's it. That was just a blip on the screen, but they cashed in, and that's important.
If I lived in small town America, wherever, and I had a chance of watching the Chicago Cubs or the Colorado Rockies on TV, or going down to the minor league park and paying $10, having a few beers, I'd do that instead. I would.
Well, that's the thing. We are
many minor league. There's, and then there's all the wood bat league and on it goes. I don't know. I don't know. The baseball's in a fucking heap of trouble.
It's they're trying to milk more money out of fewer people, right? So if you're a baseball fan, now you got to pay this much. Now you got to pay this much. When we were there last summer to go to those games, like I mentioned, I believe at the time that we bought outfield tickets for a home run game. We bought tickets right behind third base, trying to catch a foul ball, and then we bought nosebleeds. I had the most fun in nosebleeds, And you know what? We had a buy different seats because with the 4 tickets we got, we didn't make the minimum purchase. Like the tickets were only $10 a piece on SeatGeek, and we needed the 40 or whatever. Like it was great. And so if you're gonna stink, maybe that's what the Rockies do. They stink enough that they get people in there for $10 a seat and have a great time. You can sit wherever you want.
Ain't no one paying $300 or $500 to sit in a fucking suite.
Well, the corp, I think it's a corporate town because those must be doing something. Because once again, I don't understand the business model. But you know, with the barn half full, there was still a nice buzz. All the entertainment sections inside the stadium were full.
It's great. I just don't understand the logic there. There's not enough baseball fans for how much baseball is being played across the United States. There's just not.
As you say that, I wonder.
You go down to Whitefish to Kalispell there, the rail riders. Range riders. Sorry, they get good crowds. So all those thousands of people are going to that. They're not watching games. It's just, I don't know.
You know, it'll be interesting. We should take a look at next time we want to talk about this, like what the Cardinals are doing, because they sucked ass last year, and Cardinal fan isn't used to sucking ass, and they're sucking ass again this year, and that's a fan base.
They'll stop going.
And that's a fan base that fucking cares. You know, like so. How many years?
Never, man. You go back, fucking John
to the '60s, yeah.
In
Bob
the
Gibson,
'80s, and
Stan Musial, yeah. Like they have. That's a proud, long franchise.
The nostalgia is gone. Like I have it, you have it. Jasper doesn't have it. Kids, I'm around baseball players all the time, man. All the time. They don't have the same nostalgia at all.
They have favorite players. They don't have favorite teams.
They barely have favorite players that aren't themselves.
Yeah, that's also true too. Yeah,
they're more worried about their own stats because it's all up online, no matter what. No, I don't know. Like it's the game's still really good. It's not great, but it's not sustainable. It's not.
You can't think so. Like I don't know. It's the on-field play is as good as it's ever been. It's just different, right? Like the station-to-station baseball and everything. And speaking of which, Jasper laid down a perfect sack bunt on the weekend. I was quite proud of him. I've never seen him bunt.
Was he supposed to?
Yeah. They were tied in the top of the 6th. It was a 6-inning game.
Yeah. And
there was a guy on first, and it was perfect, right on the grass, halfway between the pitcher and catcher, and he damn near legged it out. I thought he was safe. That's not true. I thought he was going to be safe, but the ball did beat him. I'm not going to bitch it blue. Stuff like that, like the station-to-station baseball. Like how many times, like as stupid as starting a guy on second base in the extra innings is, how many times do we see someone bring him over with a bunt to third?
Lots.
Never. Do you? With successful bunts?
Oh, now you like the Wimble has it, so I see it quite a bit. But yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I find that just the baseball fundamentals aren't as good on the major league level as they used to be.
Saturday night's game it was a 1-0 game at Spitz Stadium there, and there was bunt efforts and steals and things. It was great. It was great. It was actually a great baseball game, and because not everybody's thinking about launch angle. Like there's coaches that are saying, "Well, that guy's not playing for a contract." They're like, "We're trying to win ball games."
Yeah,
and you wonder how much that comes into effect when you have guys, I want to play for a contract. I want my launch angle to be this. My stats have to be this. My projected win total has to be this. Like when your manager said, but my contract says I need to win fucking 85 games this year. I could give a fuck how many home runs you hit. I could give a fuck how many hard hit, projected, whatever it might be. and that because stats in baseball equal contracts for the players. Stats in baseball mean managers and coaches get fired.
So the way baseball is scored, though, like advancing runners, sacks don't count. Or like there's probably another analytic number that just says, like this isn't good for you if you're actually advancing runners type thing. Like I don't know, like the advancing runners into scoring positions,
advanced
stats,
analytics and everything else.
Oh Christ! You know, there's so much I don't understand. And when baseball decisions are being made under circumstances that someone can't really explain to me, then you're fucked. Like you're fucked. And then like what do analytics have to do with anything about the development of baseball, like through the farm system? Because, you know, back in the day, St. Louis did have that. They had that machine. They would bring the kids up and
year in, year out.
Year in, year out, there would be a new hero, not necessarily a superstar, but someone that can step in. And then they had that pipeline going through. The Jays had it for a little bit, you know, and then we thought they had it back with Bichette and Vlad, but obviously they don't.
And they just sent Biggio down to the minors, designated for assignment.
Because
he's never very good.
He's not very good. And like, you know, he made a splash his rookie year with Bichette and Vlad, but it's time for a hard look and see what you want to do. And you know, and if you are the Yankees, if you are the Dodgers, you can retool and reevaluate, but you do have to have guys that you develop yourselves.
Yeah.
And then once they get to, you have to, because that's the only way to you can't fill the entire roster off the free agent market. And then when it's time and the person's deserving, like Aaron Judge, then you break the fucking bank, right? And yeah, it's not like they broke the bank. They paid him market value. He could have got more someplace else. When San Fran was winning their World Series, they were doing it with homegrown talent.
You have to have a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Texas had for homegrown talent. They spend a shit ton of money, and even the two pitchers, Verlander and Scherzer, didn't play in the fucking World Series, and they still won. So Houston had homegrown talent and a better way of cheating than the Yankees in Boston.
There you go. Anyway, Dave, let's get to our become a usual thing for us now, a music segment. It was quite funny on whatever it was this week. Friday was CJOC night here, and so we played CJOC 94.1, 70s, 80s, and whatever the fuck they call it, and put it on there. And they had Haywire rocking when I put it on in the fucking on the loudspeakers in the stadium there. Fuck did I laugh. Black and Blue.
They had Black and Blue?
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Oh, it's a great show. I laughed. We talked about it on Monday night. I laughed my ass off, and one of the interns, they're like, "What's so funny?" I said, "Don't worry about it. You're never gonna get it. Like, you'll never hear this song again, so don't worry about it."
Yeah. But I appreciate the effort, and so whoever
there was zero effort. She didn't really care. Whatever.
No, she was just there to push play.
Barely. Anyways, Dave, let's get to our music segment, our weekly Monday night music segment. We're back Thursday night, by the way. Maybe do something a little bit different. We've got some ideas for a Thursday night show. Hall of Famer or not Hall of Famer? I want to get your thoughts. Hockey and baseball. We'll do that on Thursday night, but I want you to do a little bit of research, get our listeners to also do it. Hall of Famer or not a Hall of Famer, and reasons why. Because I've been writing this. Like, I know I've been.
You got a list?
But I have a list of players. I want you to say yes, no, maybe so, and why or why not.
Oh, okay.
So I'll forward it to you in the coming days and days ahead. But anyways,
you're making a list and checking it twice.
Let's get to our music segment, Monday night music segment, and go from there.
Okay. You know, you and me back we're kids of the '80s as far as our musical stylings go, and we've been doing like the kind of the pop things and what have you.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the '80s, but I heard one of these songs on the weekend, and it's like, fuck, I was never a fan of it because we're going heavy metal. We're going the original heavy metal. We're going chicks that were wearing the black shirt with the white baseball things, with Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, and all that
Turbo
kind of
Lover.
stuff. Yes, that is one of the songs that we got to pick from. What is better? What would you rather listen to? Judas Priest, Turbo Lover, or Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills?
Well, Dave, I'll tell you a little story here.
I got a Run to the Hills song too, but go ahead.
Back in 1984, my parents had a hardware store on Fort McLeod Main Street there. And there was an arcade right next door. And they would sell those the arcade, not my parents, they would sell those T-shirts, the black with the Iron Maiden or Judas Priest in the front with the white sleeves, and
there was the head shop. You can always get those, or
yeah, you get those, but they're right next door to my wheelhouse, and so I used to hang out there at the arcade a little bit more than I probably should have. Wasn't doing anything nefarious, wasn't smoking cigarettes or anything else, or I wasn't doing arcade things. I think you know what I'm saying.
You were just there for the games.
I was there to play games and hang out with the
Bubble.
kids, right? Hang out with the cool kids, and I was more of a pinball guy back then, but fucking around. But Iron Maiden, because who was the Eddie? Eddie was the guy.
Was that the Skeletor type mummy thing? Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah.
And Bruce Dickinson's voice from Iron Maiden was fucking second to none. But Turbo Lover, what was the guy's name from fucking Judas?
Rob Hatfield. No.
Hatfield.
Was that it?
Halford.
Yep.
Rob Halford's voice. He would hit those high notes. Those two guys, when you turn that jukebox in the Fort McLeod arcade up to 11, it was something. And it was always at 11, right? But to make a long story short, I am going to say, that Run to the Hills is a superior song than Turbo Lover.
I can give you that. I think I would rather listen to Turbo Lover numerous times than Run to the Hills, but when Run to the Hills hits, it fucking hits.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, like if
Run for your life. Like
Turbo Lover
Turbo Lover almost has too much bass.
Yeah, it's so Turbo Lover can be used as like a warm-up song, at the hockey game or anything like that. But Run to the Hills is when you're in the thick of it, when you're doing something, right? Like it's just tough to describe. And I'll bring us back to a time I had in Fort McLeod. It was when we were bond spieling, and this was before I was a normal curler. And so it was Mike and myself and Small Town and his buddy Decker and Oni was there, and we were looking for something to do at the streets of Fort McLeod at one because the bars were closed, and there was a house party. We went to this fucking house party. I have no idea whose house it was, but it was a fairly small house, and they had fucking Iron Maiden on 11, and it was a mixed bag, and there was a fella sitting on a chair, passed right the fuck out with his head on the speaker. And we walked the gauntlet, and it was like, 80% dudes and some sketchy dudes and that. And I was following Small Town and Mike. And then Small Town just went right to the fridge, grabbed a beer. Here, grab a beer. I go, I ain't grabbing anyone's fucking beer in this house. He goes, why not? I go, because I don't know a fucking soul here, and I'm not near top.
Don't worry about it. Fort McLeod, man.
Yeah. And then, let's fucking hang out. And I turned to Decker. I go, you're not comfortable either, are you? No.
I remember that year.
Yeah, small. We're gonna fucking belt. Why? Fucking hang out. No, fuck. And then so Decker and I walk back to the hotel. But like the music was at 11, and this dude was so gone. He was fucking using the speaker as a fucking pillow. I'll never forget that. And I was fairly inebriated myself at the time, and I can still remember that. Yeah. Crazy.
Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson. He did some like fucking not opera shit, but the what's that fucking word? Classical shit.
Like, oh, really?
Vocal cords, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Run to the Hills. Like he has pipes. I don't know what
and
those guys.
And it turns out, like unbeknownst to anybody in the '80s, that Rob Halford, his boyfriend's gay.
Yeah, and he quit. He quit. Like
he came back.
Well, no, not because he was gay. No, they got another singer, and he's cool with it. Yeah. And then he does other shit on the side. I listen to him on Mark Maron. I listen to Maron's podcast every now and then. Yeah.
Like Maiden is just cooler because you can go Maiden, right? Maiden. Like this is one of those things.
I don't know. Judas Priest. I guess Judas Priest was more pop, heavy metal. And you listen to that shit now, and like Maiden and Priest and Metallica, they were so hard. Like that was because I was a fucking bit of a pop princess back in the day, and I like Duran and Thompson Twins. So like I wasn't listening to that fucking shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Honestly, like it's just like a Huey Lewis. Like there's a long. Huey Lewis is miles away from those, and so
Did you hear who's coming to Lethbridge?
Shania Twain and Tiffany.
No, Paula Abdul.
Oh yeah, Paula
Abdul. Tiffany and Taylor Dane.
Oh Christ! You know, I went go. I went
at the Plex.
I wouldn't go see them at fucking Average Joe's. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hey, does Paula Abdul have a bad money manager? Like she should have made a shit ton on her fucking hits, and then whatever she was doing there on American Idol.
Paula Abs should not be coming to Lethbridge in October.
She should be coming to Lethbridge for anything. Like, and you know, if you're coming to Lethbridge, that means you're going to Regina, you're going to Saskatoon, you're going to Winnipeg, you're going to Brandon. Like, Christ,
you might end up in Grand Prairie. You might be on the Wimble circuit right away. Fucking.
I bet she's going to the Grey Eagle Casino, right? And like, it blows me away. Like, you got nothing better to do for 2 fucking months and then ride a fucking bus through the Canadian prairies in October. Jesus. That's what you get for having a modicum of success.
Performing.
Well, then do it. Like, why isn't she going like to Charlottesville and Norfolk?
Because they aren't buying tickets. She's trying Canada.
I guess.
Anyway.
I don't get it. But you know what? You're not going to see there. This guy. I got asked twice. Hey, you want to go? Fuck no.
If someone gives me tickets, I might consider it. But
I'll give them to you before I put them on SeatGeek.
It depends what night of the week it is.
I don't know. Like, I honestly didn't look at that. Like, October 9th or something like that. Really? That's fucking weird. Taylor Dane.
I'm not. Taylor Dane. Nah.
Yeah, she was a poor girl's Sass Jordan.
I like Sass Jordan so hard. That's a great tune.
Yeah, so hard. Kicks a ton of ass. Taylor Dane, I don't think I like her.
I like
Taylor Dane. Amanda Marshall.
No, Amanda Marshall and Taylor Dane are 2 different genres. I like Taylor Dane.
I don't think I do. Well, maybe you can find a Taylor Dane song. And then as a general rule, you really don't like the female artists too. So.
Oh, that's not true. That isn't true at all. Like I quite like Dua Lipa. Like I've turned into a bit of a Swiftie. Like I don't mind the female artists. I really don't. Madonna can fuck off still, but yeah.
Well, fuck
off and
yeah.
But Dua Lipa's good.
I'll take your word for it.
Anyways, Dave, fun show tonight. We put one together, first time in a week, and then we're back again Thursday night. Yeah, we did it.
We got to get in the swing of things again. I think both of us are like a little tired from too much baseball, but is there such a thing as too much baseball? But
yes,
we're going to find out because we'll come back a little bit more bushy, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Thursday.
Thursday, have a little fun, have some laughs, and do some.
Well, fuck, and there's going to be another hockey game.
Like, just Hall of Fame or not Hall of Fame.
I'm looking forward to that because I like giving my opinion whether it's asked for or not.
We'll find some guests. Some guests between now and then.
Okay.
Hall of Fame or not.
Kick the bushes. Sounds good. I like
some old friends. Get them on the show. Have a laugh.
I like laughing.
I love laughing. It was 1424 podcast. Ford Beer Sports talking a whole lot more. Take care of each other. More importantly, take care of yourselves and you rock. Keep sick on the ice and what else, Dave?
Don't swing at high pitches, Jim.
Never. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you again on Thursday night for Hall of Fame or not Hall of Fame.
I'm not even going to try and sing it because the way that Run to the Hills goes. Run to the hills. Run for your life.
You gotta
have a good night, everybody.
I'll bet he smokes less cigarettes than me and you do.
Yeah, to hit those notes, I'm a little bit more gravelly than him. I'm more of a Lou Rawls.
Like Taylor Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a deeper voice than Dickinson.
I like her. I like her.
You're allowed to like her.
What's that permission?